I raised a very specific roads issue, which is that of the local improvement scheme for my own county of Wexford. These improvement works on private and non-publicly maintained roads are hugely important to the local communities. These roads often lead to the number of houses or farms. They're very importantly, they may also lead to lakes, rivers, beaches, castles and old graveyards and other historical and very important cultural sites which help improve history, cultural access and access to our facilities in Wexford as a tourist county. Therefore, they're critical for improvement of rural development and the infrastructure within rural Wexford. I understand that there is a total of about 800 applications currently throughout the country and that only probably about 30 have actually been funded. In 2018, Wexford got the third lowest allocation, despite it being a 5-seater and one of the biggest populations and biggest counties in the country. I note in contrast that your own county, a 4-seater, got almost 4 times as much funding as Wexford did. In 2019, that funding for Wexford has almost halved in that time as well. And I'm just curious, Minister, will there be further funding for the county of Wexford for local improvement schemes? It is badly needed. We have some of the worst roads, the 5th worst roads in the country, and the local improvement scheme, while not on public roads, will help the county.
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
I don't like to say this to you, it mustn't be that bad in Wexford, them roads, because I allocated to Wexford €329,878, and I'll tell you now, the total paid today to Wexford is nil. So they haven't drawn down 1 penny from the LIS scheme this year. And I can't, and you can't expect me to be considered and given any more LIS money when they haven't drawn down 1 penny. Now, I'll just give you other figures for the country. I gave them the money in February because I was listening to you, and to be fair to you, and you're right, and I agree with you, and to your colleagues, and to my colleagues, who were telling me that they were getting the money too late. And I allocated the money in February. And to date, for the 10 million, I have paid out €1,977,914. That's 19.78% is what's paid out to the local authorities. Now, there's something very wrong when that's happening. If there's such a demand for the LIS, I expect that that money should be drawn down and should be spent by now.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy, conclude.
Thank you, Minister. I know that last year almost 100% of the funding was drawn down in Wexford, and that may be just a timing issue, but there is a huge demand in the county. I am particularly interested in seeing the funding allocated to, as I say, cultural and historical parts of the county that actually could otherwise have not received funding. And I do thank you, Minister, for expanding I think the areas that local improvement schemes can be used, because I understand that now, for example, it can be now given to roads that don't necessarily have houses on them, but if they're accessing things like, for example, castles or beaches, that the funding can now be used for that kind of funding. If there is still need, it requires a community to come together to apply for the funding. And I look at a prime example in my own county of Tintern and New Ross down near South Mills, which would benefit hugely for it, and I'm hopeful an application can be put in there. But it is absolutely critical for supporting rural Ireland. Wexford has one of only 2 counties, I've raised this before, outside of Dublin, that doesn't get any funding in the Clár programme, because the Clár programme is still running on 2002 populations instead of more recent census, so it is. So it's critical for a county like Wexford that needs additional funding, and I do hope that more funding will be provided.